Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. This is Kat's Kitchen and I'm Kathleen, and today we're going to try to make some new recipes. I've been trying to find a really good Indian recipe and a friend recommended some of these, so I'm going to try these to see if they're amazing or not. So the first one we're going to get started on is Tikka Masala. This recipe that I have does not require chicken. My husband wanted chicken in this, so we're going to go ahead and put chicken in this. I haven't marinated it since it was frozen. I just pulled it out of the freezer. And I'm just going to throw it in here and let it saute till about 12-ish, because that's when my husband gets back. He had to do CPR training for his job, so he'll get back around 12 and go to work around 2. So I'm hoping this is all done in 2 hours. That's the plan. And then I'm going to make homemade naan bread because I have never made homemade naan bread. That shouldn't take too long. I'm used to making a lot of tortillas, so I'm hoping this is the same. I'll just make it thicker and use a little bit of different ingredients. And then I feel like we need to have rice with this because traditionally most Indian food uses rice, so I'm going to try to make a turmeric yellow rice with it. And I felt like this was missing a side, so I think I'm going to try to make a chickpea curry to go on the side. So that's the plan for this video. Hopefully everything works out great. We shall see. And let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. I'm not sure if I want to use this whole onion. Does this use onions? One large onion. So I think I'm going to split this in half because this is a fairly large onion. And I'm running low on onions. I need to go back to the store and get some more. Yep, the rice uses onions too. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this chopped up and put on the stove because it's going to have to caramelize for about 20 minutes, and then we can switch over and start working on the naan bread. And since I just made chicken stock, I need to get out another bag for chicken scraps. So we can start working on getting some more veggies in the freezer. So in about 6 months, I'll have enough veggies. I'll have enough veggies in the freezer to do another batch of chicken stock. So one of my favorite foods is foreign foods, exotic foods, anything that's non-American. So I am always looking for amazing recipes. I grew up on a military base, so we had a lot of exotic restaurants near us. And it's been a struggle trying to find recipes that was as good as traditional recipes. So hopefully this recipe is as good as those restaurants. Now I'm just going to throw this in a pot, add some oil and butter. And I'm just going to cook it on the stove until my onions are caramelized. Evelyn, what are you doing there, baby? You don't kill Mom with your hands. So I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. Hey, no ma'am. The vent back on. And then it says 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. 1, 2. Okay, we go put this back. Okay, we gotta close it. Mommy's got a lot to do this morning. Alright, and then I'm gonna place this on the stove to start caramelizing. Alright, set that recipe aside. Alright. So I'm hoping this is a lot like tortillas, and I make tortillas about every week to every other week. Emily, don't touch the sink, please. So I'm hoping this is not that much of a struggle. So I need half a cup of warm water and 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. So I need to combine warm water, yeast, and sugar in a large bowl, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then add the extra stuff. So let me get a bowl out. I know. You excited too? Get this out. Alright, got myself a bowl, and I need half a cup of warm water. I'm going to let that run for a little bit and warm up, and then I'm going to get 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. So 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. And then I need to add a teaspoon of sugar. So there's my 1 teaspoon of sugar. All right, I got my half a cup of warm water. And I'm going to let this sit for 5 minutes until it's nice and bubbly. All right, while we're waiting on that, I'm going to switch over to, let's see. I think I'm going to get the rice going and then add the water and just let it sit until I'm ready to start cooking. So I need to heat oil in a pot on medium heat, then add whole spices, bay leaf, cinnamon, star, anise, and cardamom, and saute for 30 seconds until they release their aroma. I'm going to go ahead and get this onion chopped up so they can be good to go for both. The chickpea recipe calls for 1 whole onion, but I'm cutting it in half since I don't think we're going to eat 2 cans worth of chickpeas. And I only bought 1 can, so that's what we're using. And sometimes you just got to make do with what you have on hand and not follow the recipe 100%, and that's fine. It'll still taste the same. I'm going to start working on the rice and getting the spices sauteing. So I'm going to add some oil. Just enough to kind of coat the pan. And then I'm going to start heating this up on the stove. I'm going to go ahead and add salt to my onions for the Tikka Masala. That'll help draw up the moisture and make the onions cook down quicker and faster, since it'll pull out the moisture to allow them to fry quicker. So I'm just going to add about a teaspoon of salt, and I turn this down to medium-low, and I'm just going to let this sit until it's done. And this is warming up. I need to get my spices together. Oh. Turn that down a little bit. All right, now we're back to our naan bread. So I need to add olive oil, yogurt, eggs, salt, and 2 cups of flour. So I need 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Some yogurt. So I need yogurt and 1 egg out. Alright, so we're going to add a 1/4 cup of yogurt. I need to start making my own yogurt, since the only yogurt I can find in stores is non-fat yogurt. And I prefer whole fats when I'm cooking. Got that right there on that sheet. Alright. I need half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use this 1 teaspoon and then just use half of it. And then 1 egg. And 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm just going to leave the yogurt out since I have to use that for the tikka masala. Oop, this is not even open yet. Do I have one open? Alright. So 3 tablespoons of oil. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so we added olive oil, yogurt, egg, and then I need 2 cups of flour. And it says stir until smooth. It says add enough flour to make a soft dough. You want right there? Okay, you can get right there. And this looks like it's going to be a wet dough, so I'm going to have to add more flour probably. Okay, so this looks very wet, so I'm going to add more flour. If my daughter lets me get there. Mommy's got to get in there, baby. Excuse me. I'm going to add 1/2 cup. A little bit less than 1/2 cup. Close it. Thank you. I'm just going to knead this in the bowl since I do not want to make a mess over my counter. It says place dough in a greased bowl. I'm just going to leave it in this bowl and cover it up to sit in a warm place until double. It should probably take about an hour. Actually, I think I will rinse this bowl out, put some oil in it. I think this is what it needs. So I'm just going to lay that right there and then rinse this out real quick and add oil to it. Alright, this doesn't have to be perfectly clean. You're just putting the same thing back in it. I just don't want it too wet, so I'm going to wipe it down real well. Then I'm going to add some avocado oil into the bowl. And use my hands to just smear it around. And then I'm going to put the ball in here and then flip it back so it gets nicely covered. And I'm just going to lay this dampish towel over it to let it rise fully until we're ready to use it. Hopefully my daughter doesn't find it. So the naan bread is on hold for right now, so we can go back to doing the rice. You can see how pretty the onions are getting. I had to turn down the heat a little bit since they were starting to overcook. Are you having problems drinking water there, Evelyn? Alright, so let's go ahead and get the spices in this oil. So I need 1 bay leaf. One-inch cinnamon. One-inch cinnamon. Star anise. It says optional, but I'm pretty sure I have some of that. I have star anise. So it says 1 star. This reminds me of licorice smelling. Alright, and then we need cardamoms. It says green cardamoms, but all I have is powdered cardamom, so I'm going to use this. And then I'm going to add my onions. It says saute for 30 seconds. Let me just stir this up. Now the ground spices will burn quicker than the whole spices. So I'm going to keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and add the onions now versus waiting. And garlic. So I keep whole garlic in my freezer. I buy it in bulk and then I take the time to peel it. So then I can just take it out and it's ready to go. For half the price of already peeled garlic. So I need turmeric and salt next. I'm going to lay these aside. And I need 1 cup of rice. I'm going to get all that ready so I can just go ahead and throw it in this pan. Because the spices are going to burn the longer it sits there. So as soon as my onions are good to go, I need to be ready to move on to the next step. Hopefully there's enough rice in this bucket. I might need to switch it out for another bucket down there. Alright, so here's my cup of rice ready to go. My onions for my tikka masala are about done, so I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken to this. It is still semi-frozen, so I pulled it out last night. So hopefully it works alright. The recipe does not call for this, but my husband wanted it, so I'm just going to go ahead and add it. These onions are almost done for the rice. And the tikka masala is going to sit on the stove for about an hour, so it'll take long, so it'll give enough time for the chicken to fully cook through. I just didn't marinate the chicken. I know when you usually make tikka masala using chicken, usually marinate it overnight. At least that's what I've noticed with most recipes. So I'm hoping this turns out alright. If not, then I'll omit the chicken next time. I'll try a different recipe. This is all trial and error until I find me a good tikka masala recipe. Alright, so I have a break between the 2 onions. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on the chickpeas. So the same thing, it says heat olive oil in the stock pot and then add onions and cook until translucent. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going. So right now, all we're waiting on is onions. And I'm going to use avocado oil. I'm not sure if it has a higher smoke point than olive oil, but I know olive oil you can't heat. Olive oil you can't heat that high, or it ruins the flavor. So I need to double check the smoke point on these. All right, I'm going to add the rest of my onions into this. hit you all the way on the eye. These are almost done. Maybe about 2 or 3 more minutes. So the chickpea curry calls for ginger, so I'm just going to take the skins off of this and get it ready to go. Alright, so the onions for the rice look about done, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rice to it. Right. Okay, so I'm supposed to add turmeric and salt first. So I'm going to go ahead and add the turmeric and salt now. It only calls for 3/4 teaspoon of turmeric. And then some salt, 3/4 teaspoon of salt. A little bit more. Alright. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the rice and start sauteing. And it says to saute for 30 minutes, or 30 seconds. It turns this beautiful yellow color. Then I need 2 cups of water. My daughter is directly underneath my feet down here laying down in the most inconvenient spot she could find. But as long as she's happy and she's not yelling at me, I'm good. Alright, so I'm going to get 2 cups of water to put in the rice and then set it aside, and we'll finish that once everything else is done. Excuse me, baby. I'm going to get some water. Oh, I touched your hand. Alright, so the rice is ready to go, so I'm just going to set that aside. I'm going to get a second spoon for this. And these onions look great. They're nice and brown, so we're going to finish up this as well. And we're just going to let the chicken defrost on its own. There we go. We'll switch out. So I need to add garlic and ginger. So the recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of garlic, so I'm going to add 3 cloves. And then it says 2 tablespoons of fresh ginger. I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to eye most of the recipes that we're seeing. Hot. Alright, so I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of garam masala. Which will be fine. Oh, it's already on the counter. So that's 1 tablespoon. Okay. 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. was that? 2 teaspoons. Might be a little too much, but it's okay. Coriander. How much coriander? 2 teaspoons. Chili powder. 2 teaspoons of chili powder. Put this in a jar yet, because we don't use it that often. How much? 2 teaspoons. And then a teaspoon of turmeric powder. Let's just start burn on one side. Alright, I need salt and black pepper. It smells good. Black pepper. And then I need 14 ounces of tomato puree. I have a 12 ounce. So I'm not gonna do 14, we're just gonna do 12. And I'm trying to move quick before our spices burn. It's always good to try to warm up your spices in some oil. It helps make them more potent. Evelyn, you be careful around this stove. Mommy cannot play with you right now, baby. We have to wait till Mommy's done cooking. Messes. Alright, see what's next. I'm gonna let this tomato paste warm up a little bit. Those are a glass, baby. Yeah, let me see if Mommy can find you something to play with. The trick is to put things where my daughter can semi-grab it, so she thinks she has something she's not supposed to have. So she'll run away and leave me alone for a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to add 1 cup of fat plain yogurt. Did I put my spoon in the sink? I did. What you got? You're covered in flour. Okay, so I need 1 cup of whole fat, which I don't have whole fat. My store only sells non-fat, so we're just going to make do. And also my store is out of heavy cream, so we're going to have to use half and half. So I'm going to just put the whole cup in here. Looks like my chicken's finally coming apart. Alright, 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Like I stated earlier, I only have half and half, so that's what we're going to have to use. So it calls for 1.5 cups. I'm just going to add a cup of this because this is a little bit more watery. And then 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. So 1 tablespoon-ish. This back on. These are like borderline burnt. It's alright. So let's pause that recipe, go back to the chickpeas. What do I need in this? I don't know why it's on low. Okay. So I need 2 garlic cloves because I cut this in half, so I only need 1. I need ginger. Okay. 1 jalapeno of green chili. I have a serrana. I'm just going to throw in there because that's the first thing I came across. It says to seed and slice, but man. Alright, then I need 2 tablespoons of garam masala. 2 tablespoons. I need to learn how to make my own garam masala. I don't think the store-bought tastes as fresh, and that might be one of the reasons my Indian food doesn't taste as good as restaurant quality. And then I need turmeric, salt, it's a lot of salt, black pepper, and then I need 2 cups of fresh tomatoes, diced. I don't have fresh tomatoes right now, it's winter, so I'm just going to use canned tomatoes, diced canned tomatoes, it's fine. I am going to let those spices heat up for about 30 seconds before I add the tomatoes. And hopefully I did not add too much salt. We usually like our food a little bit on the spicy side or salty side. So with this, I'll just put a whole piece of chicken on my husband's rice or next to his plate. Because he does do his job is very busy, so he's constantly moving around, so the extra protein will be good for him. Alright, so this should be good, so let's go ahead. I'm going to drain some of the water out of this. And this should deglaze our pan. And it did. Alright, and then we need chickpeas. I used to be vegetarian for a few years, so it's been a while since I had chickpeas, probably since then. Besides us eating Indian food. This recipe did call for 2 cans. I only bought 1. I don't think we need 2. Because if my husband doesn't like it, then I'm stuck eating 2 cans of chickpeas. And if I don't like it, then we have a bunch of food we need to go through. So I'm just going to drain the water out of this. You playing? You're being good. Thank you. You're out from under Mommy's feet. And I'm going to add the can of chickpeas. This says to add half a cup of water, but it looks pretty watery to me. So I'm going to omit that, and I might add some later. But right now, it looks pretty watery. not too watery, but it's a nice amount of water in it already. So I'm just going to leave this one alone. And then it calls for lemon juice. I only have the bottle lemon, so this is what we're going to use. This is half a lemon, so I'm going to add maybe half a tablespoon. I don't know, Mommy's making a big old mess to clean up. And I'm not sure if you add cilantro before or after. Oh, so you're supposed to add the lemon juice after you cook it? That's fine. I don't think it's going to make a difference. So I need to cover this and cook for 15 minutes. I'm going to stir the rice. Let's see if I can find lids for everything. Oh, that's not the right lid. That's the right lid. Alright, so 2 of our 4 recipes are done. They just have to cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. I'm not gonna start the rice until later because my husband said he's gonna get home about 12. So about 11:30 I'll start the rice. And I'm going to try to clean up before we work on our naan bread, because I think we're done with the yogurt finally. Oops, because I make more messes. I've had the spices for this recipe sitting on the counter, so I'm glad to finally be able to put all that away. I'm going to put this back over here. And I got to also put air seal this back up and put it back up. This has also been on the counter. It says I went grocery shopping. You put that in there, but you won't be able to put it no more. Alright. Yeah, so all we need is fresh cilantro. My cilantro has been in there about a week, so it's not as fresh as it was, but we're still going to use it. So I'm going to drop this down to low. Let me get some of that. And I'm going to put the lid on this and let this simmer. And hopefully cooks that chicken thoroughly. Naan bread's the only thing we got left. It looks like it's rising up nicely. Not sure if it's doubled or not. So I think I'm going to start cooking my rice. I still have about 20 minutes before I can start my naan bread. So I turn this up to get it to a boil. I turn this up to get it to start simmering, and same with this one. I need to get this up to a simmer because my chicken's still raw. And I need it ready to go for about 25 minutes-ish until my husband gets home. And when this comes to a boil, I'm just going to cook it like normal rice. I'm going to put the lid on it and then drop it down to a low heat and let it cook for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to add these turmeric skins to my bag of veggie scraps. I've never added them to broth before, but I know I know turmeric is very good when you're sick and stuff, so I hope it doesn't mess up the flavor of my broth. But I'm thinking overall it'd be more beneficial for us than me just throwing it away. So I'm going to go ahead and include that, and hopefully my next broth comes out okay. We'll see. This is also going to be an experiment using turmeric pills. This should be about done. The chickpeas. They smell great with that serrano in there. This smells like summer. Hopefully my husband likes this, because I like chickpeas. So hopefully he likes chickpeas and I can make this during the summer. This would be great. And that's the timer for the rice. Hopefully they're not burnt. Oh, but get close to sticking. So I'm going to take this off the eye. Alright, and then I'm going to move this in the back. Let's see, turn this off, turn that off. And then I'm going to put the cast iron up front. And we're going to start working on our naan bread. This is starting to warm up. So my cast iron's on the stove. It's starting to warm up, and we're almost done with lunch. So this has pretty much doubled in size. So we're going to go ahead and split this into 8 portions. Try to split this into 8 portions. I'm just going to... There's 1, 2... Still very sticky dough. 3, 4, 'Alright, I'm gonna have to probably make these on the smaller side. This is very sticky dough. I probably should have floured it more. That's alright. And at least about naan bread, it does not have to be completely straight versus tortillas. You kind of want them pretty circular. Naan bread, you're a little bit more relaxed with when you're messing with it. Cilantro and everything.
Hey guys, this is future Kathleen. My daughter is mid-tantrum right here, and I figured you guys did not want to hear her scream, so I'm just going to do a voiceover real quick to explain what's going on. All I'm doing here is just rolling out some naan bread. I will place it in the cast iron skillet for 2 to 3 minutes, flip it, and let it toast some more for 2 to 3 minutes. And then I am pulling it off the cast iron skillet and laying it into a hand towel where I will use about a teaspoon of butter over the top, and then I will sprinkle on some cilantro.
While the last naan bread is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and taste everything since the chicken's done and the chickpeas are done and so is the rice. Let me flip this. Alright, let's try the chickpeas first. This is what I'm most interested in. That's good. That's really good. Oh. Oop, this is probably burning. You first. Mommy's almost done, baby. Almost done. Mommy's got to get this food done. Yeah. Alright, this last one's going on. And we're going to try the rice next. That cardamom made this. I can just smell that cardamom coming off of this. That's so good. Amazing. That's definitely a keeper. Just spin out this. Now for the Tikka Masala. I've been dying to try this. Oh, that's good. The heavy cream would have really made this better, but still amazing. So good. That's a keeper as well. We're just gonna butter our last one. Now I am gonna put cilantro on the top of all of our plates once we make it. And try to use up the rest of this cilantro that I have in the fridge. Alright, that's the last of that. You turn this down, turn this off. Come here, baby. Oh, I know you're not having a good day. Say, Mommy, why aren't you watching movies with me or dancing? You're in here cooking. That's not very fun. Especially when I don't get to eat anything. You okay now? You okay? You want to eat some naan bread? Yeah, you want some naan bread? Here, you want to try some? With the butter. What you think? Is that good? Is that Evelyn approved? You gotta think about it? Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us in the kitchen. We tried, was it 4 new recipes? They all turned out amazing. They all of them are a keeper, and I will keep on using them. So maybe we finally have some Indian recipes under our belt that I can put in my cookbook. I just need my husband's final approval. I try to upload every 3 days, so I would love to have you join us in the kitchen. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!
Hey guys, this is future Kathleen again. I just want to let you know that my husband tried this dish and he loved it. He licked his plate clean. That is how much he loved this dish. He said it's the best Indian food that I have made, hands down. And it is up there with restaurant quality. So I highly recommend these recipes. I will definitely add all these into our monthly rotation. It was that good. He said the curry, chickpeas added a nice, unique flavor to it, and each dish had a different flavor profile. He said it was amazing. Well, thank you again for watching my video, and I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.